Early this morning, I got a call from my high school buddy Mike, who is currently working as a detective. Mike urgently asked me to come to the mental hospital. He told me that they had caught a serial killer they had been looking for a long time. Mike told me that the Ripper might be insane, then he would have to be admitted to a psychiatric hospital. Since I work as a psychiatrist, I could do an independent examination of the Ripper and write a psychiatric report that the Ripper was sane, and then he would be in jail for life or be sentenced to death. The Ripper deserved that punishment. He killed 26 people, the youngest of whom was only 16 years old. I cleaned myself up, ate a quick breakfast, and drove to the clinic. When I arrived, I saw 2 police officers with machine guns in the corridor, guarding the door of the special psychiatric prison room. That's when Mike came up to me and asked me to start working on the Ripper faster. I told him it wouldn't be quick, as I had to talk to the maniac first, and only then would I be able to draw any conclusions for the expertise. I entered the office and saw a tall man with broad shoulders. He was standing with his back to me, looking out the window, which was covered with bars.
Hello, Kate.
The Ripper suddenly spoke out of the blue. I was surprised that the killer knew my name. I didn't expect prisoners to be told the names of their psychiatric experts.
No, they didn't tell me you were coming. It's just that you are as familiar to me as I am to you. But where are my manners?
Ripper turned to face me and looked at me with bright blue eyes.
My name is Ethan.
The Ripper gave a light, old-fashioned bow.
Kate.
I know.
How do you know my name? Are you going to tell me that my name was whispered to you by demons?
We've known each other for a long time. Since you were born. Try to understand me correctly. I am your guardian angel.
Very witty. And who put you up to this? Was it God himself?
I want to ask you not to mock. You must take this information as a given. I am your guardian angel. I protect you in any way I can.
Judging by your bloody past, you don't like people very much. You've killed 26 people, very strange for an angel, don't you think?
Understand, Kate, murder is nothing. I've done worse things than murder. It was for your safety.
Of course, I didn't believe the Ripper, not a word he said. In my work, I encountered many different crazy people and heard different stories from them that defied any logic. Many of the crazy maniacs tried to hide behind religious motives. But Ethan spoke in a way that made it clear the maniac believed what he was telling. I got the impression that he was completely sane.
If you need to conclude a certificate of my mental health, you can write that I am completely sane. I will not pretend to be insane in order to avoid the death penalty.
I felt uncomfortable. Could Ethan read my mind?
No, Kate, I'm not a mind reader. I'm just a good analyst.
I was terrified that I, a professional psychiatrist, was being read like an open book by some maniac. Ethan looked at me with his clear blue eyes and smiled sadly.
Believe me, Kate, you're a good specialist. No one else could recognize what you're thinking. But I can, because I am your guardian angel.
Yes, I remember that you are an angel. A killer angel.
These murders were a necessity. If I had to kill more people in order to keep you alive, I would have done so. Fortunately, such drastic measures are not always necessary.
What could all those poor murdered people have done to me? I didn't even know them.
You were not acquainted with these people only temporarily. An encounter with any of these people could later kill you.
What do you mean by that? That you murdered a girl who was 16 years old in cold blood and she might have hurt me somehow?
That girl was supposed to come to your appointment tomorrow and fall in love with you. First she would write you love letters, you would not reciprocate. This girl would then have to fake rape and then accuse you of it. There would have been a huge scandal, and then the man you love would have left you. You wouldn't have survived and killed yourself. I couldn't let that happen.
It creeped me out. The Ripper knew I had a man I loved.
But could you cancel our meeting with that girl and not kill her?
I could have. But then you would have met her on the plane when you went on vacation. The outcome would have been the same. Believe me, I don't enjoy killing. It's just sometimes it's the only way.
I had the feeling that this guy knew everything about me. He knew about the vacation I wanted to take with my boyfriend. Even though no one could know about it, I wanted it to be a surprise.
And that businesswoman you killed. How could she hurt me?
She's having a birthday party where this businesswoman has to get drunk and drive drunk. She will have to run you over with her car. In this case, I did a favor not only for you, but for a lot of other people as well. This woman was a very unpleasant person and caused a lot of people a lot of trouble. Believe me, I take no pleasure in talking about these murders. Let's drop the subject.
I was confused. I didn't believe the Ripper, but he sounded very convincing, and everything made sense. That's not the way lunatics usually behave.
You're judging me, Kate. You think I've killed a lot of people and now I'm trying to get away with it. That's not true.
What are you talking about? You killed people. Who are you to make me believe you?
Trust me, Kate. This is the work of a guardian angel. We have to do everything we can to keep our charges safe. The guardian angel takes care of all the dirty work. Our job is to keep your immortal soul safe. We die for you, we betray. And all your gratitude is that you send me to the death penalty without even trying to make sense of the situation. You don't want to believe that. All my life, all 36 years, I've been there for you and kept you safe. I am not afraid of death, but you must understand that if I am killed, you will die too. Man cannot exist without his guardian angel. People are too careless and short-sighted for that. I have died 1,000 times. One more death will not change anything, but for you it will be the end. But I don't want to die, and I don't want you to die either.
I don't want to either. But why do I have to die? I didn't kill anyone.
You foolishly create situations in which you yourself must die, and only someone else's death can save you. I took all the filth of betrayal and death upon myself, so that you might live on without defiling your soul. And this is how you pay me?
The Ripper's eyes blazed with fanatical fire. They reeked of a grave coldness.
I am depriving you of my protection for exactly 24 hours, so that you can understand what it is like to live without your guardian angel. Now get out.
I banged loudly on the office door in terror. The door flew open, and the police rushed in, one of them striking the Ripper in the stomach with the butt of his gun. A blood stain splattered across the blue hospital shirt, and the Ripper fell silently to the floor. "Everything all right, miss?" one of the police officers asked. I could only nod my head in shock. Detective Mike came in next and pulled me out of the office. Later, Mike told me that we had been talking to the Ripper for 5 hours. I looked at my watch and was surprised to find that this was true. It seemed to me that no more than 20 minutes had passed. Mike wanted to ask me about the Ripper's mental state. But I told him I had some more tests to run the next day. I hurried back to my house. There was a buzz in my head, like the buzz after a long movie in a movie theater. I walked down the street, trying to get my thoughts in order. My phone rang in my pocket. I was taking my phone out of my pocket when I heard the squeal of brakes and felt a little bump in my side. The driver of the pickup truck started yelling for me to be careful crossing the road, that he had almost hit me. I listened to what I felt, and it didn't seem like my bones were broken. It was only unclear how I ended up on the road, and in a place where there was no crossing. A crowd of people gathered around us, but when they saw that there were no bloody rivers on the road and no bodies, people began to disperse. I sat on the dirty pavement and tried to quiet the noise in my head. Suddenly, on the other side of the road, I saw the Ripper. He stared at me for a moment, then turned and staggered away. I jumped up and rushed after him, but I was immediately grabbed by the sleeve of the driver of the truck that had almost run me over, and told me not to go anywhere, because he had called 911. I came home late at night. I was angry, tired, and dirty. My boyfriend wasn't home. I remembered that he had sent me a text message. But I never read it. When I opened the message, I saw that my boyfriend had left me. My chest felt cold and empty. In the morning, I drove to the clinic to see the Ripper again. Ethan was still standing there, staring out the window.
Was that your job?
I asked angrily.
What are you talking about? You're the one who read the message when you walked right into the driveway. You should always look around, especially on the road.
I've always done that. Nothing has ever happened to me.
Because I was always there for you. You were never without my protection. By the way, you can call your boyfriend and talk to him. He thought you cheated on him, but I took care of it. Yesterday's incident on the road showed you what will happen to you without your guardian angel. It happens to those who are left without the protection of their guardian. Did you enjoy it?
No. That was mean of you.
Any human life at the expense of others is despicable. But it's our job to keep people safe. Now you need to keep me safe.
Am I supposed to help you avoid being shot? But even if I do that and write a report that declares you insane, it still won't solve the problem. The public will collect signatures, and you will still be sentenced to death.
I know that. The only thing that will save me is escape.
How are you going to escape? There are guards outside the door with machine guns. There are bars on the windows. You can disappear into thin air, you're an angel.
Yes, I can do that. But if I disappeared, word would get out, and you'd be suspected of all my murders. You didn't know, but you have no alibi for any of those crimes. We also have the same fingerprints.
I understand you. You want to avoid punishment and do it with my hands. I don't know how you do all these tricks of yours, but it won't work with me.
You are making a mistake.
I don't care. I will write a psychiatric report today and declare you sane. You will be shot.
You're going to die.
The death of another maniac will only make me feel better. I'm sick of your angel fairy tales. I'm out of here.
I will pray for you.
Goodbye.
I signed the psychiatric report and took the documents to court. I was sure that the Ripper would be punished. It's been 4 months. The guy asked me to marry him, we became engaged. Detective Mike threw a party the same day the court handed down the death sentence to the Ripper. The next day I was driving to work in a great mood. Turning on the car radio, I heard that a Ripper named Ethan had been shot this morning. Suddenly I saw him in front of me through the windshield of my car. Ethan smiled, and I abruptly heard the squeal of brakes. Darkness followed.